Welcome back everybody. Today I just wanted to have a little discussion about, how I feel about the game, where the game is going and stuff like that, because I did see some Reddit posts, people were discussing some things. Obviously I watched Seaton's burnout video, so I just thought I'd give you my opinion. Obviously as someone who's played this game for longer than 99% of people, the only person who has played the game as long as me is Marilli, and that's basically it. Everyone else, they've played, they've quit or whatever, but only me and Marilli have really stuck with this game from day one on JP, and even came over to global. So I've played this game for a very long time. I've seen how it works, what Netmarble do, how they like to do stuff, and it's I think it's one of the reasons why I have my complaints about this game, but at the same time I just generally just don't really voice it, because one thing I've realized is that it's very difficult to get change. The only time we ever receive change through complaining is when you bomb the app store, what we did with Assault Meliodas, but that's not sustainable. You can't just bomb the app store every time they do something that you don't like. So I feel like that was literally the only time we ever got a reaction out of Netmarble, because obviously their game, which is normally above 4-star, was getting bombed. It went down to I think it was like 2.1 star or something like that on the Google Play Store, and obviously they see that, and when they see something like that, the first thing they're gonna do is get all of the bad feedback removed. I mean, don't get it twisted. Don't think that the game went from 2-star back to 4-star because everyone changed their review. No, they just get the reviews deleted by Google. So yeah, the reason why I think that is because Netmarble is a Korean company. The developers are Korean, so I feel like by instinct they just don't really care too much about what the global community thinks. I really don't. I don't think they give a damn what we say or think. I think they mostly care about what the Korean players and the Japanese players say, because obviously those were their first game versions. Those are the people that they probably listen the most to. Global is pretty much just an afterthought in order to make some more money. That's basically it. So that's why I feel like complaining really doesn't get you anywhere. I mean, unless we're gonna complain every time they do something we don't like, which means we'll probably be complaining like once a month. So that's why I just don't take it too seriously, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, the way the game is, it's like since day one, you'll have your normal stuff, the normal stuff you can do, and then over time they'll add stuff. From the formula they do, it's like we'll get a new character, we'll get some new story, some new events, some of these we'll get those events like over here in Fort Sogris. You'll get these little garbage events that no one even does because they're not even that useful. We'll get some of these, we'll get some final bosses, we'll get some raid bosses and stuff like that, and I feel like that's just how the formula goes with this game. At this point in the game, 2 years in, they're not really adding too much, of course. I mean, they definitely could, they make the money to add stuff, but they just don't seem to care too much, because I feel like in their head the game is in a good spot. I don't really, Japanese players don't really complain too much, the Korean players don't really complain too much, but obviously Korea is a bit different, because the Korean version of this game is actually doing very, very bad. I don't know if you guys see, maybe I'll put up the stats on the screen once I edit this. The Korean game is very, very close to shutting down because it doesn't make any money, barely anyone's playing it, it doesn't get any new it doesn't get many new players. But obviously the Japanese game, whilst it doesn't make, whilst the Japanese game still makes a lot of money naturally, because Japanese players are whales by nature, it's in their culture. Gacha is a culture over in Japan, so it makes sense that the Japanese version is going to make money. The Japanese version also doesn't get too many new players, of course, but the global version, of course, gets many new players and also makes a lot of money. So it's just a bit unfortunate the way they do things, but I can tell you everything what's wrong with this game, because I know everything what's wrong with this game, but I just don't feel like there's any point in doing it, because it's just not going to change. It's almost like wasting your breath. It's not really something you want to do. And just to address some stuff like burnout, for example, I think everyone is going to get burned out. I've been burned out on this game many times. Over 2 years, I'd say probably 6 to 8 times in 2 years. I felt like you know, I can't really be bothered to play this crap anymore. But yeah, I feel like burnout, everyone is going to experience it at some point, whether you're just bored of the game, whether you're just bored of getting shafted, whether you're just, you know, you just don't want to play it and stuff. I feel like burnout is natural. If you don't burn out on a game, then in my head that tells me if you haven't had your first burnout, right, in a while, when that burnout comes, it's gonna really hit you hard. Like, you're gonna really want to yeah, you're really gonna want to quit the game or something, because obviously, as I said, I think burnout is natural, you know. I don't think it's human to not get bored of doing the same thing over and over again. If you're not bored of that, then by all means, you know, congrats, you have a very strong will, and that's good for you. But yeah, I just feel like burnout is natural, everyone will get it. So that's my opinion on that. And the last thing I want to talk about is people who think that I saw this on Reddit. They were talking about like how content creators should like stop whaling and stuff to, like, you know, show the game that you know, where we don't like what they're doing. And that's just not gonna happen, man. Like, not because I don't want to stop whaling, but it's because, you know, if 5-8 people stop whaling, that literally means nothing. Like, it means nothing, because the majority of people who spend money on games are not people who are on social media, right? It's not the people on Reddit who are spending a lot of money. It's the people who don't use social media, right? They don't watch YouTube videos, they don't, you know, talk to people on Discord, on Twitter about. It's just people who, you know, have a lot of money to spend. They spend their money, and they have no, you know, they don't bother to communicate with other people, and that's just, you know, that's where I feel like the majority of revenue comes from, you know. I just don't think that people stopping spending, and it just never works. Like, you know, you can boycott stuff, but not everyone is gonna boycott with you, right? So, you know, if I stop whaling, you know, me and the boy, like, it means nothing to Netmarble, bro. Like, for Netmarble to see that there is a huge issue, it would need people who don't keep up with social media to stop whaling, and that's just not gonna happen because they don't keep up with social media, so they don't know that people want to boycott and stuff, you know what I mean? And obviously on top of that, there's people that just don't care, you know. There's people that just literally don't care. They'll continue whaling. It's entertainment, you know. Obviously, you know, people spend money on the game either to make content, which is like YouTubers, or for entertainment, you know. So for me, for example, I played JP for a whole year before I ever made my YouTube channel, right? So I was already whaling on this game before I ever made content. So it's like, you know, and I didn't really care about any boycott stuff because that stuff just doesn't really happen, you know. I don't think there was ever a boycott on JP because I just don't really think anyone complained, you know. Whereas on Global, I feel like a lot more people have complained about stuff, but I don't know. I guess it's not that I see it differently, but I guess we just have different opinions on what to complain about. As I said previously, I don't think complaining gets you anywhere. I mean, unless it's like, you know, I know the Koreans complain here and there sometimes. The Japanese players don't really complain too much, but obviously the global players do complain a lot, which is understandable because realistically speaking, the global Grand Cross has had a worse gaming experience. You know, we've been rushed through banners, you know, all the stuff they've done to global, you know, we have factually had a worse gaming experience than JP and Korea. So I feel like complaining for the global player base is, you know, by all means justified. I just don't think it's gonna change much, to be fair. And the last thing I do want to mention is, like, you know, in terms of content, can you get burned out on like doing content? For me, sometimes it's, you know, yes and no. I think it's just the way you treat your channel. For example, me, the way I treat my channel is I'm a PvP player, right? 99% of the time I spend on this game is playing PvP. So the way I do my content is I try out a bunch of stuff. If it works out or if I think it will be decent as a video, I just upload it, right? I just record a video. I use a team that I was testing out. Seems good, or if it seems bad, whatever, I upload it, and that's just the way I do it, man. Like, for me, I just upload whatever I'm using, right? And that's how I do it. I don't really make too many guides or like give you insight because that's just not my channel, you know. I'm pretty sure it's gonna vary, you know. If you ask Seaton, if you ask Nag, if you ask Speedy, they'll give you their own opinion on what they think is content, but that's content to me, you know. I mainly play this game for PvP, and you know, I think that's the best way for me to not burn out, because PvP is a mode, whilst, you know, even like, you know, even though you'll probably face the same stuff over and over again in PvP, it's just the fact that, you know, you can use so much different stuff, and whilst, you know, most people won't use everything, it's one of the very few benefits to being a whale is that, you know, I have 90% of characters 6/6 and stuff. You know, I have so many characters I can use, which definitely helps me enjoy the game more. I can never use the same team over and over again like 90% of players do. You know, they'll just put on their glue eater, they'll just go play PvP and, you know, somehow enjoy the game like that. I can't do that, but, you know, it's just my opinion at the end of the day. Just a short little 10-minute discussion. You know, we've discussed a few things here and there. Just letting you know my thoughts. Am I burned out on this game? To be honest, I want to quit this game. I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. I do want to quit. Like, I've been wanting to quit for the last several months. There's just no game out there I would rather play. I really want to play a new game, but, you know, Genshin Impact, I did not like it whatsoever. This new My Hero game, I do not like it whatsoever. So until I find a new game that I actually really like, I'm just gonna keep making content, because obviously, you know, this game is my job. You know, like my channel only uploads one kind of content, so if I quit this game and I have nothing else to play, then I don't really have a job. So you know, we do have to take this seriously in terms of personal life. But yeah, that's just my thoughts. Can't wait for a new game to come out that I really want to play, because although I've played this game for 2 years across 2 different versions, I am more than happy and more than ready to begin a new journey. But that new journey just hasn't come up yet. Actually, I do want to add some extra addendum, because right as I stopped recording, I just realized, wait, I still have more to talk about. Another thing I wanted to talk about is the monetary system of the game. I feel like at this point now, it's you know, it's really difficult to invest in characters. You know, first off, you have to summon for them, you know, whether you want to 6/6 them or get a copy. Then you have to, you know, buy their outfits with money or at a later date with gems. Then you have to make a gear set for them. Then you have to make the gear set you are, and then you have to super awaken them. I feel like the steps to building a unit in this game over the last 2 years has just increased and increased and increased. So it just, you know, number one, it becomes more expensive to invest in units, and it becomes more time consuming, which definitely is not cool. You know, at this point, I don't think it should be this hard to invest in characters, especially when we have a roster of over 150. Like, obviously I can't tell you the exact number, but there's definitely over 150 characters. So, you know, I do feel like building characters is definitely a big issue. And of course, you know, the packs, Netmarble tend to, you know, release a lot of packs for us, which, to be honest, I don't really mind too much as a whale. If you're a dolphin, it probably can become overwhelming. You know, all the stuff you can buy, gems, anvils, you know, gear sets, materials, cosmetic awakening. Oh yeah, that's another thing I forgot. You have to cosmetic awaken a unit. So it's like, man, too many things to spend money on, and there's just not enough resources you can get from the game. I know that they have this anvil dungeon, but it's like, you know, it's like an hour, you farm it. I don't even do my anvil dungeon. Like, I pay my friend to farm it for me, because I'm just not gonna spend 1-2 hours every week farming this. I just don't. Honestly, I just pay my friend and he farms it for me. It's just very boring and monotonous. But you know, it is what it is, I guess. It's just another thing. But to be fair, in terms of a whaling perspective, this game, like, the one good thing I can tell you about this game is that you get what you pay for. You know, there's other games that just don't sell you as many things. Like, you look at Genshin, for example, their gems or primal gems, or whatever you call it, they are incredibly expensive and they do not have sales. Like, Genshin does not do sales, so every time you buy something, you get minimal gems for maximum price. It's just you know, the monetary system in that game just sucks, in my honest opinion. Other games I don't really know too much about, because I don't really play any other gacha games except for this one. But just to give you an example, you know, for example, if you compare the monetary system between this game and Genshin, it's just, you know, it's not even close. The thing is, like, Grand Cross is still, in my opinion, one of the best gacha games out there. Like, the way the game is, it's just, when you play it for a long time, obviously it starts to weigh you down, but, you know, it is what it is. That's pretty much it, my short little addendum. I hope you guys enjoyed the short little TED talk. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think. What do you think about this game, where it's going? Are you still enjoying yourself? Do let me know. I read all my comments. I just don't reply to every one of them, unfortunately. But yeah, that'll be it, guys. Subscribe if you're new. Drop a like on the video. I'll see you later on.
Why are we so blind to see that amazing most